You are standing in the dark. No light, no warmth, just cold pressing in from every direction, and somewhere in the grass, something is moving. You cannot see it. You cannot chase it away. You have no way to stop it. For most of the deep past, this fear had no answer. Then, at some point, it did. What if that answer never came? Around 1 million years ago, deep inside a cave in South Africa called Wonderwork, something extraordinary happened. Ash, burned bone, charred plant remains layered into the cave floor itself. In 2012, archaeologist Francesco Berna and his team confirmed it as the earliest solid evidence of controlled fire use by early humans anywhere on Earth. Not a wildfire that swept through by accident. A fire that was kept, tended, fed. This one shift didn't just warm bodies. It rewired what a human being could become. But picture the version of history where it never happened. No spark carried from a lightning strike. No ember nursed through the night. No hearth, ever, anywhere. What would you actually look like, right now, if that moment had simply never occurred? Start with your teeth. Raw meat is tough. Raw roots are worse. Without fire, every meal your ancestors ate had to be broken down entirely by muscle and enzyme, which meant enormous jaws, thick enamel, and a skull built like scaffolding just to support the chewing. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham, in his research at Harvard on what's known as the cooking hypothesis, argued that heat does something raw food never can. It pre-digests it. Cooking softens fiber, denatures protein, and unlocks calories that would otherwise pass through the body mostly unused. That matters more than it sounds like it should. Why? Because your brain is expensive. It burns roughly 20% of your entire energy budget, just sitting inside your skull, doing nothing but think. A raw food diet, chewed for hours a day, extracted from tough plants and stringy meat, may never have generated enough spare energy to build an organ that costly. Wrangham's research suggests that without cooking, the human brain likely plateaus at a fraction of its current size. Smaller frontal lobes, less capacity for planning, language, and abstract thought. Not a lesser mind, exactly, a different ceiling entirely. And it isn't only Wonderwork that tells this story. At Jokodian, a cave complex outside Beijing, researchers uncovered thick ash layers alongside the remains of Homo erectus, one of your more distant ancestral relatives, dating back several 100,000 years. Different continent, different population. Same discovery, arrived at independently. Controlling fire wasn't a fluke that happened once and spread by luck. It was something the human lineage seems to have reached for, again and again, whenever survival demanded it. So let's reconstruct what a single day looks like in the world where none of that ever happened. Dawn breaks cold because there was no coal bed to sit beside overnight, no warmth to wake up next to. Breakfast is raw and tough, and it takes most of the morning just to chew enough of it to survive until the next meal. There is no cooked meat to preserve, so nothing is stored for later. Every predator that hunts at night still hunts at night because there is no flame to hold them back at the tree line. Group size stays small. Large territories, tough food, and constant threat don't reward crowding together. And when the sun goes down, there is no fire at the center of it all, which means there is no reason to sit in a circle, facing each other, for hours, with nothing to do but talk. That circle mattered more than almost anything else on this list. Around a fire, work stops, hands are free, faces are lit and visible in a way they never are in total darkness. Some researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, including work led by anthropologist Polly Wiesner among the Juho Hansi in the Kalahari, have found that firelit evenings are when storytelling actually happens. Daytime conversation tends toward logistics and complaint. Nighttime, by the fire, is where myth, gossip, humor, and shared history get passed on. Take away the fire, and you don't just lose warmth. You lose the stage where culture itself gets rehearsed. Here's the twist most people don't expect. Fire wasn't primarily a hunting tool or even primarily a cooking tool in its earliest use. It was a social technology first. It extended the useful day past sunset. It created a safe, lit space where a group of tired, vulnerable primates could simply exist together, without one of them standing guard. Warmth and cooked food were enormous benefits, but the circle itself may have done just as much to shape who you are, because it created the very conditions language and complex social bonds needed to evolve in the first place. Without it, there's no guarantee any of that happens on schedule or happens at all. Now bring it back to tonight. You probably won't build a fire before bed. You'll turn on a light instead, or a screen, and that glow will do something oddly similar to what the hearth did for a million years. It will pull people toward it. Dinner tables still gather families around a shared meal at a fixed hour, the direct descendant of a scheduled fire imposed on your ancestors long before clocks existed. Campfires still work, when you find one, exactly the way they always did. Something in you softens. Conversation gets slower, more honest. Nobody has to be told to sit closer. That isn't nostalgia. That's a nervous system that spent roughly a million years learning that firelight means safety, and safety means it's finally allowed to rest. You are standing in the light now, not the dark, and something in the grass is no longer a threat you have to face alone.